Good evening, people. Welcome to this live stream today on a lovely Tuesday evening. Today, I'm going to present to you the last week or so at Forest. I brought on some guests, starting with James. How you doing today, James?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me onto your channel.
No worries. David, how are you doing?
I'm good, Luke. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. Dan, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. You?
Not too bad, thanks. So we're gonna start things off with obviously Steve Cooper signing the new contract. Coming you one at a time. I'll start with David. What are your immediate thoughts on him signing a new deal for 3 years?
Delighted when I found out. Quite surprised as well, obviously, because we were all a bit suspect as to whether he was going to be here or not. Now, he could have been sacked after that Villa game if he hadn't have won, and I think it was a bit of a surprise that he did sign it, but I think we all hoped that he would at some point. But yeah, I think the general consensus of most Forest fans is belief and just very, very happy that he's staying with us. And I think we saw, I'm sure we'll come on to the game, in yesterday's game, there was improvement, and that just shows that, it's just a time thing. It's not just Cooper's fault at all. It's a much bigger thing than that. So yeah, very happy with it.
Good stuff. Dan, immediate thoughts on Steve Cooper signing the contract?
I was really, really happy, to be fair. It came out the blue, if being honest with you. So I was just about to do a video Friday morning when it came out about giving Cooper a contract, and then within minutes of me just about to go do the video, he signed a contract, and then, funny enough, me and Mads did a preview on Friday, and it just completely turned the conversation around.
Oh,
I was really happy.
Yeah. I'd say that's a good luck charm. But James, your immediate thoughts on him signing the new contract?
I'm really happy about it. I'm really over the moon. It's came like we've all been like down about it. We're wondering what's going on. Obviously, the games ain't been really great before yesterday. But other than that, having that in, it's pulled a lot of stress off Cooper's shoulders, I do believe, and it's definitely brought out a different performance between the players. So I'm very happy that he signed. Up the Reds!
But yeah, obviously, I also echo what the other three have said. It's very much out of the blue. I saw the notification saying I saw Steve Cooper, and then I thought, oh, he's not done what I was expecting to see sacked because of the potential rumours to start with. But yeah, obviously very happy. I think it takes a little bit of tension out of the dressing room. Obviously, there still is some pressure because of where we are, but it definitely helps that that that's going to be your manager for a good chunk more games. But I want to speak about Marinakis. Now, obviously, there was a couple of articles saying that he wanted Cooper gone. Apparently, those were all false. Myself included in this. A lot of people wanted him to go based on those reports. I want to know what you three think about this. David, what do you think about Marinakis?
Yeah, well, I did a video last week about when it was all boiling over with Cooper, and I didn't ever say get rid of Marinakis, but I did question him and his obviously Militad Marinakis, his son. Mainly, the only thing I really said is, are they involved in maybe the tactics or the team selections, or more than anything the transfers at the end of the window? And I think there were in the transfers, maybe not so much the first stuff, but that's the only thing I was really debating, whether they were potentially involved in that kind of thing, which they probably shouldn't have been. And it was frustrating. I don't think he should be selling the club at all. I think he's definitely the right person. He can be a bit, obviously, he's been brutal in the past with managers. I'm glad that he's not done that with Cooper. He's clearly got a huge amount of belief in him and respect, and that's exactly what he should have. So yeah, I think Marinakis is definitely, we shouldn't be discussing getting rid of him unless something drastic happens. But ultimately, he's invested a huge amount of money into the club, so he's clearly more than invested in us and wants us to do well. And yeah, I'm just glad that he's back Cooper in the end.
Yeah, James, thoughts on Marinakis and his ownership?
Well, with the amount he spent, and obviously the rumours saying, I've not really heard much of the rumours about it. I've obviously just listened to Rad's and other people's vlogs. But if he's spending on what he's spending, then surely he's going to stay with us. There's no reason for him to leave us. You know what I mean? I don't just think it's a little stay with us. Don't need to get red.
Yeah, that's fair. Dan, thoughts on Marinakis and his ownership?
Basically what these guys has had really, just like, fair enough, he's ambitious and he wants to get Forest up to where they plan and winning things. It just, my only concern was at the start of it, how he was, especially with like the transfers and having Fentos in and how bad it was. But since like then Murphy came in, it's like he sort of like let him run things. But then I did read some things last week saying that he was getting involved again and he weren't letting Dave Murphy work his magic, which I completely get. But I think some transfers that Aston made, I do think they made them, and we'll never ever know what gone off, if we're being honest, because the club won't sell it. But it does make you think how involved they do get.
Yeah. I was one of the people that did say Marinakis out. I'm not going to beat around the bush, because you see those articles and you think, boom, straight away. Probably a bit too quick to the point, admittedly. But I think he's I think when even at the promotion, I'm still a bit 50-50 on him. Even at the promotion, talking about us winning big trophies and getting us back competing in the top 6, which I'm not sure if that's to try and put some spirit into the fan base and whatnot. But that's what sort of swayed me in a sense. But again, I'm still very 50-50 on him. But if it is the case that he never wanted Cooper gone, then okay, fair enough. I'll happily admit when I'm wrong. But that was what my question marks were over him. But yeah, anything else to add on that, or you said what you want to say?
That's it, mate.
No.
Okay, solid. I want to touch on Dave Murphy staying. Obviously, there was talks that he was leaving this month in October. I want you three to say: do you think it was true? Do you think it was rubbish, or was it going to happen and Marinakis sort of undid what he was going to do? All right, Dan.
I think there probably would have been reports of him wanting to leave, but then I imagine that if he did, the fan base would have just turned on the club. So I think Miakis sort of knew he had to try and keep him. I mean, there was that board meeting last Wednesday, and I would have thought then something would have got said, and I think Murphy would have been like, yeah, don't give it a second chance if it happens again, and gone. But it definitely weren't quality what's ever gone off.
Yeah, true. James, thoughts on Dave Murphy potentially?
I'll just say, sorry, I've just personally, I think it was a load of rumours. I mean, yeah, I did see on social media, but when I read it, it was just something wasn't right with that. I didn't believe it, so I just carried on, just like I just pushed it to one side and waited till it was actually confirmed. But I just think it was a load of crap.
First, David.
Yeah, same here, to be honest. Yeah, last week was very traumatic as a Forest fan, with the Leicester game, and it, I do understand why you asked about Marinakis in one sense, that it looked like he was starting to go down that old road again of getting involved, or approaching it in the wrong way. As it turned out good, with obviously keeping Dane and Cooper in. I do think with Murphy, I don't know whether there was any truth in it. I don't think it was really going to happen. It seemed a really weird thing to do. Obviously, he potentially was going to sack off the entire recruitment team, which would have been very wrong. And yeah,
sorry, I just think there was a bit of arguments going off. If I'm being honest with you, something went right last week. Something definitely wasn't right, especially with all the rumours. Sorry,
it was. No, it's fine. I agree. It was It was weird. It made you feel very uneasy what's going to happen. And all of a sudden, we went from thinking, God, we're actually going to lose Cooper after 4 months after he got us promoted to signing a 3-year deal. And, that's exactly what we wanted to happen, really. I think everyone wanted that to happen. It was a really weird week. And I think, obviously, yesterday was a step in the right direction for us. But I don't think Dane was ever really going to leave, to be honest.
Yeah. So obviously that was what sort of fueled me wanting him. If it was false, then fine. Because I think all these rumours that came out because they had a crisis meeting, which is probably where sort of all the arguments were had and all the rumours did come from. I heard why Dane was going to leave it to do with his contract. Not too sure what it was to do with. Hopefully, I think it was false, but I mean, if it was to do with him wanting a better contract, you could maybe understand that because recruitment, especially last season, was spot on. Thoughts on Niakate back in training? David, thoughts?
Well, huge, really, isn't it? He's probably our best centre back. I think Cook did pretty well against Villa, but overall, he's been a bit of a weak link. Going to at the back obviously makes it a bit harder for those lads to all get in. But I do think when Niakate is fully fit, he'll be in the first team for sure. We've missed him. His physicality and his pace as well. So it'd be good to get him back in the team.
James?
Literally, I can't even add any more onto that. I'm going to go with him with that. Spot on.
Dan?
Pretty much what these two have said, really. Quality news that he is back, and it just gives us that bit more of optimism around the place that we're getting players back, and it just quality.
When in doubt, say quality.
That might be.
But I say obviously defensively we've looked a lot weaker. I think last night we were right. McKenna and Cook I felt did a very good job, and I think his pace is what we've lacked. I think we've struggled with the back 3/back 5 because we haven't had that fast centre half there. So it sort of puts pressure on the wing backs to also get back as well. But definitely. I'm definitely hopeful we can see him soon. I was hoping he'll be in the matchday squad, at least on the bench last night, but I imagine he will be. He'll be hopefully in the squad around the Wolves game. Heard last night from a reliable source. I'm not too sure. About it. I just saw it at the time. I'm not seen anything since. Right, starting team. Right, we'll do that towards the end of the stream. Juan. Right, okay. Let's ask the big one. Will we stay up? Right, Dan, you go first.
100% yes. I think now we got that point and we've got that losing streak. I think Prince will look up.
Okay, James?
Yeah, like I said, I'll agree with that, Lado. I'll be happy. I'll take 17th all day long. I really will, especially I believe after yesterday with the performance, there's going to be more in it. You know what I mean? There's more in the next one and the next one after that. There's going to be, we're still going to lose a game or two, maybe 3, but I'll take 17th all day long.
Yeah, David.
Yeah, I've still got a lot of faith. Obviously, last week was probably one of the lowest it's got for a long time. To be honest, it was so far away from what a cohesive performance should be. We looked like a bunch of strangers, but I think we saw yesterday it was a dramatic improvement. It was still far from perfect, still a lot to improve on, but it was definitely a step in the right direction. We should have probably gone on to try and win, but I felt like we just wanted to stick with a point, just play it safe. But as for the whole season, I think it's just a case of time, letting all the lads get to know each other. I think we're definitely seeing that they are doing that. And if when they do know each other better, it still isn't working, then maybe we can discuss it again. But I think it's just a case of time of letting these lads really get to know each other, which I think we are seeing, and it's slowly getting there.
yeah, so obviously we've got Wolves next. That's a big game, and then we've got 3 quite tricky games. So it's important that we get something from the Wolves games. We've got Brighton, Arsenal, and Liverpool. I think it's Liverpool before Arsenal, but those are our next 3 games. So it's going to be interesting. I think I'm still very skeptical. I think if you asked me post Leicester, I probably would have said no, but that Villa game giving me some encouragement. Obviously, defensively we were so much better. But yeah, we shall see. Quickly, welcome to stream, Owen. Welcome to stream, Dor. How's everyone doing? But sorry.
I was 4th best YouTuber by me, lads.
No comment. No comment. Right, so let's talk about last night's game. Obviously, Forest 1, Villa 1. So we briefly touched on it now. I think it's a good opportunity to speak on it. So, all right, James, what are your immediate thoughts on last night's game?
That was a confidence boost for us yesterday. That was a kick up the arse that we had the last game, and we've proven that we are worthy. We are a worthy class team, and yeah, I really enjoyed the game. I'm happy with the 1-1. I was expecting it to be 2-1 to us. As I was there, my prediction was 2. My heart said 2-1. We had said 1-1, but I was really happy with the performance. I'm gonna there's a couple of games I've noticed it with Cook is doing me head in a little bit, fouling when he shouldn't be fouling. You know what I mean? Going a bit too much into it. But other than that, yeah, it's been good. We just need to concentrate a bit harder and score more goals. But yeah, overall, I'm really happy with the performance.
Okay, David?
Yeah, pretty much what James said. I mean, we obviously touched on it throughout the stream about how it was a much better performance. We looked a lot harder to break down, a lot harder to beat. We looked like a team, really. I don't think there was any moment really where it looked like we didn't really know what we were doing, like against Leicester and then Fulham and Bournemouth, really. So definitely a step in the right direction for sure. Still a long way to go, but you've got to start somewhere, and we certainly showed that yesterday. Lots of good performances, even the players that was a bit questionable whether they were starting or not. Cookie and Kurate being the main ones for me. I think both of them did pretty well. Not sure whether they should be starting even now, but at least they've proven that they can compete. That the players, Freuler, proved me wrong yesterday. He went a little bit under the radar, potentially in previous games where he wasn't as good as what we thought he would be. But I think he did well yesterday. Yatesy definitely step up to the mark, as I knew he could do. And I think Gibbs White, obviously, we're seeing more and more from him. What a great player he is. And I was also very happy that the fullbacks were changed, and I think both of them did very well. And obviously, I think we ought to mention Dennis as well. Really good first full debut, really, for him. Obviously, starting. Great goal as well. So, yeah, encouraging signs. But hopefully it keeps getting better like that.
Okay. Dan, immediate thoughts on last night's game?
It was what I expected, to be fair, especially after the news with Cooper contract and how the fan base were really geared up for last night. It probably was what I expected, to be fair, that we turned up, defensively, we looked like a team. I felt like the Windows did really well last night, track back. I felt like the midfield 3, they just didn't really let them when we got into our half, they couldn't really do much but bar play to the wins. I felt like Fowler, it just did the basics for me last night, and he did it really well. Like, it just didn't do anything stupid. He just kept the ball moving. And Yatesy would Yatesy, to be fair. I felt like the back four, they seemed settled. I mean, bar Cook and McKenna having up handbags at dawn. Felt like them two did really well to cope with Watkins, Dennings. And Dennis, when we played more defeat, it worked to his strengths because he just spin and just ran at them, and him and Gibbs White started to form a really, really good partnership now, which I'm really like. And I think it's quality. That performance.
If in doubt, say quality. Was it Mr. Daw? Some words for you there, Dan?
It's rubbing it on.
But yeah, on what you've all said, I echo it. I did expect a draw. It was a little bit of an annoying goal to concede. Obviously, we've conceded quite a few goals from outside the box. But I think, other than that, I think defensively we were sound. Cook and McKenna were very good. I think I do agree in a sense of what you're saying, James, that on the odd occasion that he was a little bit rash. And I think that was what a similar thing
It's
was
happened.
with Laurel.
It's happened once or twice now.
But I think at the end of the day, even when Niakate comes back, he's probably going to come into that partnership if we stay with the back four. And I think Cook, it's good for the changing rooms. But yeah, in respect to Dennis, I think when we actually played it to his feet, he was good. I think when we tried to loop it up, whereas if say we had Tyler on, I think it would work to his strength more. But he's not as tall. He's not super physical. But yeah, I think Gibbs White was brilliant. I think that ball in was fantastic, and he's going to be a crucial player for us. Can play in sort of the number 10 role on the wing. I think he'll be very crucial for us. Yeah, I think in the sense to this comment, I want to know what you three think to this. I think when we actually played it to his strength, I think he was better than if we just lumped it up to him. But I want to know what you three think. Let's start with David.
Yeah, I thought this a few times actually. I think he did very well yesterday. A great header. I like the fact that he was getting the fans rallied up as well, especially as a new player. You know, you really want to see that, and it just shows that they're all invested. It's you know, like I said earlier, it's just a case of them all getting to know each other. But I do agree with Owen's comment how there was a few too many times where, and I love players that take on the opposition. They're not afraid to run at them and cause problems, which is ultimately the way you cause problems is to obviously go for it really. But I do feel that Dennis, sometimes he probably should have passed the ball a bit earlier than what he did, or you know, sometimes he didn't pass it at all, and it ended up losing it, which is what obviously the comment says. And yeah, I feel maybe that's something he can work on. You know, trying to use his teammates a bit more. But certainly it did cause problems to the opposition. But I think he needs to vary it maybe a little bit. But ultimately, I think he did very well overall.
Yeah, I think so. James?
Again, I have to agree with him. He said it all in one. There's not really nothing else you can add on to that, is there, really?
Yeah. Dan, I think I know what one word you're going to say, but...
yeah, I think that to say quality, but on the whole, it's one of them ones for me on Dennis that full debut, it's not really had the... Well, he had training to work with everyone, but game time, it's not really had the time to like build them relationships up with people, because Dennis probably just got looked up and won, and that way he needs to work on it. But then on another way, that players need to like understand if he's not just going to turn and won, they need to get up there to help him. So it's a bit of mixture for me, but I agree with what the guys say anyway.
Yeah, good stuff. Obviously, this comment from Daw, I'm going to remain neutral in this situation. Nothing more to be said. But yeah, right, got a comment here. This is probably touching back on Marinakis. Gibbs White's definitely Cooper signing, yes, because we pretty much wanted him the whole window. But I think a lot of his, I think the sense of a lot of the players that we got from England, I'll probably say I think they're all Cooper signings. Nico Williams, prior, but I think you can maybe argue some of the people from Bundesliga. I feel like they would have been more Dane Murphy signs, and I feel like Dane Murphy would have consulted Steve Cooper. But I want to know what you three think of this. All right, Dan, thoughts on this?
I wouldn't put it past you if it was Dane Murphy signing, but then imagine that with the board and with the recruitment team, that they've probably done it in January. They've probably looked at him thinking, if we go up, we probably will sign these players. So I think the board would have done it sort of with knowing rough asking Steve Cooper if he wants him or not. So I think it's more the recruitment team board, but then I think Cooper would have said yeah or no anyway. Where some of the other signings, I think from England, it would have been Cooper signings. So I think it's a mixture really.
Okay, David.
Yeah, I think the ones at the end of the transfer window, like Willy Bolly, I don't particularly think that was definitely. I don't think that was Cooper at all. What ones like Barney maybe towards the end, Serge Aurier maybe, and like you say, some of the ones from Germany possibly weren't Cooper signings. I think if they're good players, I suppose it doesn't really matter. But at the same time, it needs to work with the manager. It has to fit what he wants to do. And if Bolly's a very different kind of player to all of the players we've got at centre back, and I don't really feel like it was that much of an intelligent signing. He obviously thinks he's fairly useful because he's been on the bench the last few matches, which I was a bit surprised about. I would have put someone like Bianca on there, or just someone. Didn't really think we needed 2 centre backs on the bench yesterday. But yeah, I mean, I think Gibbs White was definitely a Cooper signing. He wanted that from the start. He worked with him before. I mean, yeah, I think I agree with what the others were saying. How there's probably some that weren't his signings, but I think some of them were. And you're going to get that every window, but especially when you sign 23 players, it's going to be, some of them are not going to work, obviously. Some will.
Yeah. James, anything to add on that?
Yeah, this time, yeah. I agree with what you said. Also, as well, I wish when Morgan Gibbs White was when we was thinking about buying him, I think it was at 25 mil on it. It was at the beginning, and then it shot up. I wish we'd have got him then, and not when he's gone too far. You know what I mean? When the money's gone off, I'm just glad it's not coming out my bank account. But yeah, like I say, there's some signings. It does make you wonder, like who's actually thought about getting him and why. But there's other players that we've signed, and they're really good. Like I say, gelling 22 players together at the same time, it's a bit hard. So there's a lot to put in the team, and there's a lot to get out of the team. You know what I mean? So in Cooper we trust.
Yeah, spot on there. So I don't necessarily, just to finally touch on it, I don't really think there's many that want Cooper signs. I think pretty much all the England, all the signings we made from England, maybe bar Lingard, I think were all Steve Cooper signings, because Lingard doesn't strike me as a player that Steve Cooper would sign. I think neither Willy Bolly, because I think he's a different centre half to what we've got. We've got Niakate, which I feel like was to do with Cooper and Murphy. He's a fast centre half, whereas Willy Bolly's really tall, quite slow. Let's not forget, he didn't sign Warren McKenna. He did sign Steve Cook, but he didn't sign Warren McKenna. So I think Willy Bolly's I think we sort of were like, okay, we need some Premier League experience. Let's find someone on the cheap, bang, Willy Bolly, bring him in. So yeah, in that sense, you could see why you don't think Willy Bolly would have been a good sign. I think that everyone that was signed is a good player in their own right, and it's just about fitting them into the system.
Yeah.
But the final thing I want to do is I want to know so you're Steve Cooper, how you would set up for the Wolves game. Right, we'll start with James. What would you start 11 be?
On this part, mate, I'm literally useless. I'll agree with these two lads and yourself. I'm literally no good. I'm still learning myself with that part.
Fair enough. Okay. Right, Dan, I'll come to you. Dan, what would you play?
I'll be honest, and I don't sound like a broken record, but I keep saying team as last night, personally. I think what helped us last season quite a lot, I know I've been referring to last season, is keeping being a creature habit, keeping the same team board, like the odd change when you need to make the change, but keeping a settled team and knowing that this is my starting 11. If I need to make the change, I'll make the change, and so I'll go with the same 11. The only change I'll probably make is If we can't eat fit, win him in. But personally, I keep the same team.
Okay.
One sec. Sorry, mate. Let me just squeeze in there. With the players wise, I agree with Dan there. Keep with that formation because that was spot on yesterday. Just maybe a couple more changes, tweaks, and whatever, but that was perfect yesterday. We keep playing like that. Yeah. Thanks. Sorry about that.
But I do agree with what James said. Then now you got your system and you got 75% of your team. Probably making them tweaks. You probably then have your start 11 there.
David?
Yeah, I'd keep the body of the team. I think I'd change a couple of players. I think at least one of Mangala or O'Brien should be in. If both aren't, then I'm not too bothered. But I think at least one of them should be in. And no disrespect to Kurate, I think he did do all right yesterday, but I probably would take him out. I feel Freuler's actually earned his spot, at least for now. I still think the overall strongest team would probably have O'Brien and Mangala, and then probably one of Freuler or Yates. It's an incredible set of options we've got now. We're going to leave a good player out every time. But I'd probably I'd probably go with Mangala, as much as I really like O'Brien, and then have Yates and Freuler based off how it worked yesterday. If Niakate's fit, then I think he has to go in ahead of Cook. I wouldn't be against Cook playing again if Cooper picks him based off yesterday. Only overall, I feel Wall deserves a chance to be back in the team at some point soon. And I've seen some people saying that Johnson should be dropped and we should put in Surridge or Wani, which I think would actually work. We have Surridge or Wani up front and then Dennis and Gibbs White on the wings. But I'd probably stick with what it was up front, to be honest. Or, yeah, I'd stick with what we had up front. Definitely keep the fullbacks as well. But, yeah, sum up, I'd have the same team, but I'd probably take Kurate out for Mangala or O'Brien. And if we do have Niakate, I'd probably put him in for Cookie. So, yeah.
Yeah, I probably agree with that. Obviously, if Niakate's fit, then him for Cook. Then the only change I'll make to David's team is I'll probably edge O'Brien for Kurate over Mangala. I just think he's a little bit more, I'd say slightly more attacking, and I think out of the three midfielders, obviously Freuler and Yates, I think they're slightly more defensive. But it depends how you tactically set them up. But I think you could argue dropping Johnson, give him a spell on the bench, sort of maybe as a slight reality check. If that's the case, then I'll probably put Taiwo in for him, but I'm a bit 50-50 on the Johnson situation. But, okay, just before we wrap up, let me know your Wolves score prediction. All right, David.
Oh, sorry,
You see, I said this... I went on with Dan earlier, and I said it's difficult to say based off Villa, because if we'd beaten Villa, I would have took a draw against Wolves definitely, because even though Wolves are struggling, they're still a good team. So I feel a draw in that scenario would be pretty good. But given the fact we haven't won now for 7 matches, we need to win as soon as possible. So it's difficult for me to think that we'll go and win away at Molineux, but at the same time, I don't really know why we couldn't, because they're not doing very well either in the relegation zone like we are. So it's literally 18th v 19th, so it's a huge chance for both teams. I don't feel like we're going to lose this time, which is progress. So I think it will be either a draw or we'll narrowly beat them. I have a feeling it will be a draw, but I don't really want it to be a draw. I want us to finally. We need to get a win as soon as possible now. But I think I'll play it safe and say 1-1.
Okay, Dan, score prediction.
Just going off what Wad said, really, I think we need to win a game soon, and I think I can say it's winning 2-1 or 1-0. I think, especially with half-hour Spain, I think if we win, it will just give the lads more confidence. So I think that 2-1.
James, score prediction.
Going from yesterday's game, we've obviously how we played. It's given them a boost, hasn't it? So if we go into Wolves I'm taking this as an next away game, innit?
Yeah, so
I believe so. Yeah. So we played how it was yesterday. Obviously, do a few changes. Obviously, I don't know too much about Wolves themselves. I know obviously they're not doing great this season. But I'd be happy with a 1-0 win if I'm being honest. It's an hard one, to be fair. Without me looking on YouTube and doing my research before the game starts, I'm just going to say I'd be happy with a 1-0 win.
Yeah, I think it's either going to be a 1-1 or 2-1. I don't see us keeping a clean sheet unless Neo Carter is back. So yeah, I'm gonna say 2-1 Forest.
Put that
but-
the negative one now.
Yeah.
Not said a win.
Yeah. But yes. So right, that's it for the stream. Right. Do you want to just promote yourself? So James, do you want to go first? Promote like your YouTube and whatnot.
Yeah, I've literally hit my 100 subscribers today, so I'm over the moon. I unfortunately I don't get to a game, so I do it at home. So I vlog at home, like before and after reaction. But I've started going live now, so if you come onto the channel, subscribe to the channel, just watch content. It's really good. I mean, it's like a confidence boost for myself. Obviously, with how I am, I struggle with things. So doing this, what I love doing, I support my team. It helps me out. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah. Dan, do you want to promote yourself?
Obviously, I'm on. I won Talk Forest TV, so do check out on all the socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Obviously, got a YouTube channel with Talk Forest TV. It's over to 1,250. Obviously, I've got my own, which is at Dan TFTV. So check it out, guys.
Good stuff. David?
Yeah, just, come and check out my channel ads, obviously. I do match day vlogs, analysis, mainly about Forest. So yeah, please come and check me out. Get me to 4,000 subscribers. Follow my socials as well. This is one of them, obviously, here. And yeah, subscribe to LJP as well, everyone. Make sure you do that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll leave everyone's links in the description as soon as the stream's done. But yes, thank you all for watching, everyone. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Follow all the socials, everyone's socials. I'll link them in the description once the stream is done. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all very soon. Goodbye, and up the Forest.
Up the Reds.
Up the Reds. All right, here.